Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Gehring and this is my case study for Truman Elementary School AEP 858 Data Analysis and Assessment. My name is Lisa Gehring and I'm the principal of Truman Elementary School. We have a problem, and these are some things that I know in regard to our demographics. We are a pre-K-8 building in a suburban community. We're located in a medium-sized Midwestern city. Our district has 4 K-8 elementary schools ranging from 500 to 700 students, with Truman Elementary the largest in the district. Our district has 2 K-4 schools, 1 5 through 8 middle school, and 1 9 through 12 high school. 15% of our students at Truman Elementary School qualify for free and reduced lunch, and 5% of our students, their primary language is other than English, which is mostly Spanish. In regard to our achievement at Truman Elementary School, reading is a particular concern. Standardized National Achievement Test scores indicate that students at Truman Elementary School score lower in reading than they do in math, that they lose ground as a cohort moving through the school, and that they lose ground from grade to grade. Our parents in our school have noticed our test scores and have commented negatively on their views of reading instruction. The PTO recently requested that I address these concerns at their next meeting. I in turn then asked our reading supervisor to visit our classrooms and to create a reflection of her observations. Through that, she provided recommendations for instructional improvement. In addition, our State Department of Education announced a recent grant. It will provide an opportunity for the school to organize and support its efforts to address our reading issues. The reading supervisor found that our teachers are using a basal reading program and they are following the curriculum. 1 hour a day at Truman Elementary School is spent on our language arts curriculum. Instruction is almost always as whole group though, and there's little individualized or small group skill development. If they are in a small group, each group is instructed on the same thing. She also found that our skill development occurs solely in the context of basal instruction, and that spelling instruction occurs only in basal context and within writing. The entire class receives the same skill instruction regardless of their performance level, and only a few classes even discuss strategic reading. So in summary, what do I know? I know reading instruction at Truman Elementary is a concern. It is not aligned with the recent research on what is effective. This includes both the content of what is taught and the delivery of instruction. There are a few things, though, that I need to know in regard to our problem identification and analysis. I need to know what are our current class sizes. I need to know what's the current makeup of our faculty. What kind of experience do they have? Do they have master's degrees? And I need to know how often, if at all, is our administration team meeting. In regard to achievement, I'd like to know, other than the standardized and national assessments, what other assessments are our classroom teachers using? I'd also like to know, how are the other elementary schools performing on the assessments? And when was the last adoption of our current basal program? Is it being used district-wide, or is this just a program being used at Truman? I'd also like to know, when was the last time we aligned our curriculum with the state standards? In regard to perception, I'd like to know what our teachers think about our assessment results. I'd like to know what they think about our current reading program. I'd like to know, does the PTO support Truman Elementary in our quest for school improvement? I'd like to know, what are our teachers' professional development needs, and do they feel supported? And I'd like to know if our superintendent supports the grant application. In regard to the reading supervisor, I'd like for her to help me find out, what are the other elementary schools in our district using for reading instruction? I'd like to know what research-based programs have been successful, and I'd like to know what intervention she has in mind that she thinks that we could implement. In summary of what do I need to know? There are many factors contributing to the poor reading scores at Truman Elementary School. Several questions still need to be answered in regard to our demographics, our achievement, our perception, and the instruction as we implement a school improvement plan. When I summarize identifying the problem, the reading test scores at Truman Elementary are the lowest in the district. Students lose ground as a cohort from grade to grade, and our parents are concerned. To me, this problem is curriculum, instruction, and assessment. In category 2, proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation, the first thing I'd like to do is form a team. I'd like for that team to include myself as the principal, our district reading supervisors, representatives of our teachers in each of our grades in K2, 3-5, and 6-8. I'd like to include support staff on my team, which would include Title I, special education teachers, and then our stakeholders, our parents, and community members. Secondly, I'd like to review the curriculum standards. So I'd like to go through these with our team. Then I'd like to align our curriculum to the standards. Next, I think it's important that we as a team share with our teachers that we need to increase our language arts instruction time. 1 hour a day inconsistently is not enough. I'd like to see us move to 90 minutes a day. I'd like to take a good look at our classroom instruction. Right now we're currently doing that on whole group. I think we need to stop and take a look at how can we better provide the needs to meet the needs of our students. I think we need to look at the delivery of our instruction. What are we doing to differentiate instruction so that the students are able to get a better grasp of the reading? Next, I think we need to do an assessment review. What assessments are we giving, and what are they telling us? The next step would be to implement a data analysis system. That may include time for our teachers. Maybe we need to look at a common plan. We need to look at what we're doing for collaboration. And then we can really get into a data analysis. What is it telling us, and what are we going to do with it? We need to look at our professional development needs. And finally, we need to communicate the plan. In category 3, how can we resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students? Ultimately, we're always going to consider what is best for students. Working together as a team, implementing the steps of the plan, reflecting upon the plan, evaluating our progress, and making adjustments where and when needed. These are a few questions we need to consider. Are our strategies working? And are the stakeholders' perceptions changing? In category 4, debriefing the problem by reflecting on what I was thinking, feeling, and valuing, and identifying these issues that are unresolved or open to further investigation. Through this process, I've been thinking about our demographics, our achievement, our perception, and our reading supervisor's findings. I've been doing a lot of reflecting upon our curriculum, our instruction, and our assessment. And I've been thinking about how we can go about implementing our plan. Through this process, I have the feeling that we are uniting as a team. I feel a sense of commitment among our team. I think our team feels a sense of accomplishment and pride in our school. I've been thinking about what is our PTO's perception and how can we improve that. And through this process, I have a feeling of excitement for our future. Through this, I value the team's input. I value the need for teacher improvement. I also value the teacher's time that they're putting into this. And ultimately, I value our student growth. A few of our unresolved issues, I need to look at other content areas of concern. Is it just reading? Some of our math scores are of concern as well. I think we need to take a look at our district-wide curriculum, and I think we need to do an alignment with our other elementary schools. Further investigation needs, I think that we need to look into the professional learning communities. Through this, I think we can provide time for scheduled collaboration, which would benefit our teachers, which would then help our students. I think we need to do further investigation in the multi-tiered system of supports. I think if we can get a system in place, we will have tools that will help us address the needs of our students. Through that, we need to further investigate what are our professional development needs. Category 5, as I reflect upon Standard 8, I thought about how do I serve as an agent for continuous improvement by engaging our families and community in a meaningful, reciprocal, and mutually beneficial way. I think through this, I developed a team. I shared the information with our PTO, our site council, and our Board of Education, and I requested input from a variety of stakeholders. How did I use my knowledge of the policies, laws, and regulations that govern the school to influence and bring about positive change in teaching and learning that impacts all students? I protected our student identification anytime we were looking at student data. I followed our negotiated agreement. So when it came time to scheduling meetings with the teachers, I followed the rules and the regulations established through that agreement. I involved our superintendent in the grant process and secured the superintendent's support for the grant, and I communicated the plan in multiple languages to reach all of our parents. How I established ongoing dialogue with decision makers outside the school concerning the efforts of teachers and students, and how these decision makers effectively influence and improve instruction and student performance. I established a team to begin the process. I implemented the plan and I reflected upon its effectiveness. I involved our stakeholders in each step of the process. I implemented a variety of means to communicate throughout the process, and I encouraged input along the way. Finally, I implemented a self-correcting feedback loop to continue evaluate the system. This is my case study for Truman Elementary School. Thank you so much for listening.